but we are now. So good evening, everybody. This is a recording from the 29th of August, 2019, just a Thursday evening content chat. As I was just about to say, with apologies from Alison, I have very little on the agenda this evening. Really, this is for a Q&A from hosts to us and to share thoughts, etc., about any issues that might have. I'll start off with that I understand that the process for putting plans together, payment plans for Mark, if you're not aware, the plan is where the route through to which people pay for their circles and their content that they receive in Bizmarang. It has been a bit like pulling teeth once but we've now got the process, or I think we've got the process sorted. If we haven't, are there any questions that anybody wants to ask right now? Just actually quickly, I think, Eve, your plans were approved this afternoon, if you didn't get an email about it.
I didn't, but thank you. Good to know.
I'll speak to you afterwards. See me later.
Yeah.
See me after class.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know at least one of them came through today. So that was but is anybody any other issues on plans and setting up plans, all that sort of stuff? Yes, Karen?
My plans are all through. All the plans that need to be through are through.
Hey, see, it works.
Yeah, it works. There's one that hasn't been approved, but it was the very first one I put in and I made a mistake in the prices, so it doesn't ever need to be.
Fine. Just, if it's wrong, do me a favor and just delete it, will you?
Delete it. I'll just delete it.
Because otherwise you never know what that whole section's going to get pretty damn full going forward. Because I mean, Eve alone is creating 17 plans quite legitimately. So when we've got 100 hosts, a lot in. So just take it out.
And then so my other question is, I still have to make there's no rush on it, but to make a free plan for the odd person that we want to a free link to. Should I go ahead and do that, or just wait until?
No, go ahead and do it. I mean, you can just keep it hidden.
Yeah.
In fact, just keep it hidden anyway.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries. Shane?
No, I've got my other two new plans created, the lower priced one, so I'll be moving the current the ones I've already signed up, the higher priced one, onto the lower priced one, so I need to do that. But that should be, I've got the article telling me how to do that, so that should be fine.
And have you had the conversations yet with this? Oh, by the way, we all need to give ourselves a bit of a round of applause, and particularly Shane, because can I just say that Bizmarang Limited is no longer pre-revenue. Not very big revenue, but it is revenue. Oh, sorry, under contract. Sorry, I lie. It's under contract with its first three members.
Have to be in 1 month.
But in 1 month, in 28 days, we will no longer be pre-revenue.
Well done.
So anyway, what was I going to say? How did your have you had the conversation with those three people who signed up at the higher price? Then that you're reducing the price, and have you had that conversation?
Well, I had that conversation with a couple of them, so they know that's happening.
How did they take it?
Fine. That seems to be fine with me, yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Just for the record, pricing has been, as is always, a real issue. And we were all caught between a rock and a hard place of the price elasticity of, how many people will we get in at this price or that price and all that stuff. And the short answer is that we just don't know. Shane and I came to the decision almost independently, and then had a conversation which very quickly went, yeah, I agree. We for our circles, we're asking too much money. And so I've dropped mine down from $29 a month down to $14.99. So for the Wantrepreneur, partly because Wantrepreneurs don't have any money anyway, but so that was that. And I've also reduced the price of the course, Grow Your Own Marketing Strategy, from $2.99 down to $99. So, and Shane, you've dropped yours significantly as well. What have you dropped yours by?
I'm from £30 per month down to £20 per month.
So I I would have to agree, because my experience in Northern Ireland is nobody wants to pay for anything anyway. And I honestly believe that in that Belfast local circle, you're going to have people converting pretty quickly, so that come 2020, I think if our conversations all sound like, you're our newbies,
Yeah.
come 2020, I think new members can come in at a higher rate. I know I'm making it clear that my fall courses are part of this beta test. So lap it up now, because it'll be almost twice the price in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So coming on to you, Eve, then, how's your plans going? Well, you've had the first one approved.
This evening I have to put in the Never Too Late to Begin Again. I'll just be copying essentially from the Artist's Way courses.
Okay.
And part of my problem has been the work in the background, my MailChimp letters to clients and all of the actual day job work has been keeping me busy. So that'll be done, I would say by lunchtime tomorrow.
Okay. If this is a conversation that you don't want to have now, then please just say that we'll have this.
That's fine.
Else. But how many courses have you got up and running in
2.
there? You've got 2 courses, and how many circles?
Empowering Change and Catalyzing Connections. Ulster Connections is kind of backburnered.
So 2 courses, 2 circles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think you're going to find that quite hard work, because, I mean, to be brutally honest, I'm doing Circle Leader Circle, Wannapreneur, and Grow Your Own Marketing Strategy. And I am seriously struggling to find time to do other stuff.
Absolutely.
So,
but my other stuff are those courses.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah. All right.
So those 2 courses actually don't represent any additional workload. They are my day job.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay. I'm not disagreeing with you, because I am having a hard time keeping up.
Yeah.
It's also a function, I think, really of the learning curve bit of it.
Yeah.
Because come fall, I would be used to running 6 groups.
Okay. Good. Okay. Cool. All right. No, as long as you're happy at that, and I just want you to know that, here at Bismarang Towers, we also recognize that the level of work that is required there.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. The only other bit of news I have, other than us being almost pre-revenue or almost out of the pre-revenue stage, is we have another Circle host who's going to start joining us. I spoke to her today. Her name is Lorraine Rooney. You might have seen her posting actually it's under the topic of mental health and well-being. And she was putting out some quite good content in there. So I reached out to her and said, here, we used to have a circle that did this, that was run by somebody that Shane said, don't touch with a barge pole. And I said, give him a chance. And then I should have listened to Shane. I say that.
My gut is always right.
Well, see, you and microbiome. There you go.
So I'm going to jump in here, because I would know Lorraine really well from the Dundalk Newry Business Club. And she would have started Prestige. Now it's called Prestige Solutions, but in those days it was Prestige Employment Solutions. Just before the crash, and they were going like amazingly well, doing amazingly well. And then the crash hit, and they pivoted. So I mean, it really quality startup. So I love the fact that we have an experienced entrepreneur, an HR professional, who has now gone into this health and wellness area. So she actually is well suited to the people that we're bringing in, to Wannapreneurs, Belfast Local. And she was at one point in the lead of the Dundalk Newry Business Club. So Shane, in terms of networking, she's your new favorite person. She also did most of the training and development business, the HR training, up in Belfast. So she's well known and highly respected.
No, good. No, that's what I mean, I had a half an hour conversation with her when I was in the car today. The other thing was she's actually originally from England, married a guy from Newry and lives in Points Pass. Yeah, good Good luck with that.
And she has navigated it with absolute style and grace.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
so well loved.
that alone, I'd take my hat off to you. Well done. So, yeah. So if you're watching this recording later on, Lorraine, well done. So, okay. I think that's it. So the other bits are the I need your articles or your favorite posts, please. Alison sent me hers today. I have the content scheduled for the promotional content scheduled for starting on Monday, and the first 2 weeks I've got all the content required for those first 2 weeks. But I want to get about 4 weeks ahead. Because talking of running all the stuff, the way to do it is to get all together.
1 wee second.
Oh, hang on, Shane. Oh, Shane. Shane, we're going to talk to Karen whilst you're away.
Yeah, keep talking. I'll be back in 1 second.
So tell me, I don't know. I don't have an email address for you guys. So where do I send?
I answered your question. It's guy@bucknell.info. Bucknell, which is Bravo Uniform Charlie Kilo November Alpha Lima.
Karen used to be a communications officer for the Circuit of Ireland Rally. I would have you know, she knows her phonetic code.
And tell me.
I used to be an army officer. That's how I know
it. So if I email those to you, so I picked up my 2 articles. They're ready to send to you. They have, one of them has 2 videos in it.
Perfect. That's fine.
Yes, it's not like Facebook where you're limited to 1 photo, or else they make some sort of weird collage-y thing.
No, actually, so on Alison's one that she sent me today, the best one that I liked the best actually was her first podcast that she did with Sharon Watson McCullough about growing vegetables and all that sort of stuff, which was just really nice. I don't know if you guys watched it, but it was just a really nice 15 minutes of, have a cup of coffee and listen to these 2 people nattering about what they do. It's really quite good. So actually the promotion for that is really just going to be a Facebook post and a LinkedIn post with a short paragraph about, this is the sort of stuff that you find in BizMeringue. If you want to know, watch the video, and the video is not held within BizMeringue. The video is they can watch it directly from Facebook and from LinkedIn. On the other stuff, on my stuff, for example, it's an article. It's usually 700 or 800 words. So I've done a short description for Facebook and LinkedIn, but it drives them to the article in the home news feed. So it and that's the more I think about it, I'd like the Tuesday bit of content to be drive to an article that is going on in the home news feed, and the other stuff to be video or content or stuff that people can on the Thursday they can watch very, very quickly there and then without actually having to go into BizMeringue to get it. So I hope that was a long answer to your short question.
Yes. So then my other question is, when I was preparing those to send, I thought, okay, so I would like to have attached the new live, payments plan.
Yep.
Now, do you do that?
No. Where we
haven't pressed any buttons yet. My plans are still hidden.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is that. Are you talking about video, or are we talking about the sort of longer form written ones?
No, I'm just at the end of my post. I've also said, who's the person beside you in the gym?
Yeah.
Tell them about the microbiome. Invite them to sign up to this easy link.
Yeah. So that will be so when you do an article, the general plan is you'll do the article that you've already done in microbiome, etc. All I'm going to ask you to do, or what I will do, is I will copy and paste that article into the home news feed, and then that call to action at the end of it will be essentially, if you want to see more from the microbiome circle, click here, and that will be your internal plan.
Okay. So I don't have any link to that internal plan yet. Should I have that link?
Yeah, I would make it live now. I mean, if your plans are good and ready to go, turn them on.
Turn them on. Okay, turn my plans on and get that link.
If you're happy with them, then you're good to go.
Okay, then if I
I
think,
mean, we're pre-revenue.
yes, I think I'm happy with them. Although I did see your recent post that you in your plans you didn't add the iOS on, and I thought, oh, we had to add the iOS on. So mine all have the iOS 30%.
That's okay. If you want to keep it, that's all right. You just leave it as it is. You can go and edit it now. You can, once the plan is approved, you can go and edit anything you like other than the price, as far as I'm aware. So you could go and turn off the iOS if you want to. I don't know about Shane, but I originally was very keen that saying, stick it to Apple. I don't want Apple taking 30% and all that sort of stuff. But actually, practicality kicks in, and it's just another way that people might drop out. And so right now, for Wannapreneur in particular, and for the Grow Your Own Marketing Strategy, I just want users. I'm not really that concerned about the revenue. I just don't want to be giving it away. I want to prove that people will pay. So that's why we dropped the price and took that barrier out for people on iOS. Now, further on down the line, when it's got 2,500 members, well, then of course the price is going to go up, and no way am I giving Apple 30%.
Yeah. So you would recommend I turn that off just for now?
Yeah, and it's not based on any. It's not based on any sheer experience or anything like that. But other than it's another barrier, it's another hurdle they have to jump.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
No, that's no problem.
And I'm just going to go on record as saying I'm going to make it clear to people if they pay via iOS, it will be more money, and I suggest they don't, because I'm not as gracious as Guy. Fuck Apple. Sorry for the recording, but no, no, no.
Fair enough. Each their own. But
I mean, I'm actually very disappointed in Mighty Networks. And I realize they're out in Silicon Valley and they all have to play nice, but I'm very disappointed in Mighty Networks because I truly believe that some weight could have been brought to or not go on Apple.
Yeah. Sorry, Shane, you're a bit quiet there.
Far too big to care about Mighty Networks.
Exactly. If they were a big network in the if you're in the Far East or in the Eastern Hemisphere, it doesn't really matter. Apple's penetration of the mobile market is probably 20%, 23%, something like that. Yeah. Whereas when you're in North America, it's not Apple all the way, but it's 60%, 65% of Apple. So for you to be saying to potentially 65% of your home audience that I'm not going to play, I think it's a really difficult position. I think that the difficulty will come not the difficulty, the time will come at some point when the quality of apps being built and the usefulness of apps being built coming out of Southeast Asia gets ahead of what is coming out of the US. At that point, Apple will be forced by a lot of people to start taking that 30% out. But hey, what do I know? Mark Zuckerberg, I ain't. I got the hoodie, but I ain't Mark Zuckerberg.
There you go.
Okay. Has anybody else wants to chuck in?
Just Allison was kind enough to post the link on the analytics for the articles. I haven't sent you anything. I'll take a look at that because we had that back and forth on the circle that was essentially, submit what you like. But I think the proof is in what hits home with people.
I totally agree, except we have 251 members right now, of which about 110 are highly engaged. And they are not engaging with stuff enough in the home news network, a home news feed. So yes, you can get into the detail or more detail on the analytics. I personally wouldn't rely on, it's not that I think the analytics are bad or inaccurate. I just think you might start making the wrong assumptions and hypotheses coming out of those analytics at the moment because we simply don't have the numbers on them, as in the quantities yet. So I am a big fan, a digital marketer through and through. That's why I turned to digital marketing in 2010, was because of analytics. But I think in this case, until we get bigger and we have a lot more engagement from users, I wouldn't rely too much on those analytics or basing hypotheses on those analytics, because you'd make a hypothesis based on, you'd end up proving a hypothesis with maybe 20 engagements, and you know what?
Yeah.
Not good. So
Sample
this time,
sizes
go with your microbiome at this point, as far as I'm concerned.
Sample sizes are big enough. Got it.
Yeah, it was a very long way of saying sample sizes aren't big enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. There you go. Three times for undergraduate, my master's, and then another qualification, I didn't take probability and statistics 3 times.
You didn't, or you did?
It was ugly. It was ugly. They are the only C's I have ever gotten in my life.
You should hang around with me more often. I got a lot of C's and D's.
Of my teeth. What, are you kidding? I got out of high school with 1 B, chemistry.
Really?
Yeah,
God,
chemistry.
In fact, my stepbrother, who went to the Red Hind Downpatrick, and then for his 6th year went to Methody, Mark, but he managed to talk his way into Bristol University with 10 Bs at his O levels.
Yeah.
He's nothing if not consistent. Turned out about 28 years later, he found out he was dyslexic. But still managed to work as a copywriter at Saatchi & Saatchi London for 16 years, and is now one of the creative directors at Sky TV. On 10 Bs at GCSE.
And advertising has, when they went back and retrospectively did the research, advertising has the highest number of both dyslexic and ADD, adult ADD folk. So industry-wide, he's exactly where he needs to be.
That's right. That's one of the reasons why I left the army. I went into advertising.
One extreme to the other.
Yeah, shooting people was easy, and then I needed something else was crazy. Right.
Well.
Okay. Any more? No? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, for the benefit of the tape, thank you very much. I'm just going to hit the stop recording now. And probably tell me what you really think.